Let me size up the question I have about the spring game in this way,
Okay.
because it's a one-off. You didn't see it. You've got intel. Nobody saw it that wasn't there. Not just the spring game, because again, one-off, could be aberrations, all those things. But put together the spring game intel with everything you gathered from spring. When you piece that together, the narratives that you think are the most important for this football team.
Malachi Toney is a baller. He's going to play. He's going to play a lot. I don't know that he's going to start, but yeah. And I mean, Ray Joseph is doing well as well, so I think he can be a contributing player and everything. But Malachi Toney stole the show for sure. Defense being simpler for the players to understand and allowing them to play faster and better than last year. Like Miami's defense was atrocious. It's the thing that kept us from the ACC championship game, and by that virtue, then the college football playoff. So that was challenging, obviously, but improving along the, that front for sure. You see players just making plays on that side of the ball, which is really, really great. And offensive line being a strength yet again, obviously. Emory Williams started the spring game 10 for 10 and everything. And I tweeted at the time that I saw that come down from Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. I quote tweeted that and said, he is a 4A player. He is too good for AAA and not good enough for the majors. And I've made this analogy elsewhere. There was a player in the Detroit Tigers organization for many years named Mike Hessman, who is the all-time career-leading minor league home run hitter. And he played for the Toledo Mud Hens forever, and he would hit 30, 40 home runs in a minor league season, and he would get pulled up to the show, and it was like, hitting 128 with 93 strikeouts and 2 home runs. Like he was just in that firm level of, I am dominant in the minors and not good enough for the majors. And I think that that's the analogy that I would use for Emory Williams. I think that he's a talented guy. I think he could play at a lower tier school and be fine. I think in a limited situation here at Miami, he can be okay. But we've seen with extended play time who he is. And even with, dinking and ducking and dotting up, 10 for 10 to start the spring game, my mind hasn't changed on that. Luke Nickel, however, seems to be acclimating himself to the speed of the game finally at the college level. I know he's an early enrollee and everything. And he, like Judd Anderson and Emory Williams they're not as bold with their arm as is Luke Nickel. Like he will cut that thing loose. And, obviously, when you first get here, maybe struggle a little bit, but, having that wiring of, I got to make throws and I'm here to make throws. It's similar, but not the same as Kobe Bryant early in his career when he had those air balls in the playoffs, right? Because his thing was, somebody got to take the shot. Whether you make it or miss it, you got to take the shot. And I think that Luke has that mentality of like, yo, the throw needs to be made. Like, you can't just pull it down and run around and whatever. So he has the gumption to be able to do that, which was awesome to see the development from him over, basically since spring break, over the last 3 weeks of spring, or 4 weeks, actually, because they played. Yeah, it was 3 practices, then a week off, then 12 by 3. Yeah, okay, cool. So like the last month of spring. And generally just, hearing how everybody is, the camaraderie that seems to be there on the sidelines and in the staff, even though everybody except for Jason Taylor is new on the defensive staff. Those guys are, palling around like they've, they're lifelong friends and whatnot, and working together. So it's not just like buddy, he, but like there's that synergy where it's like, cool, I can say a quick thing because we have that bond and then move forward in a positive way. So, mostly healthy through spring. You're going to have nicks and bruises and things like that, but no major injuries. There were some guys who were held out from spring because of injuries or whatever. But yeah, in general, laying the foundation for what should be a successful season. I mean, obviously, it depends on your definition of success. But yeah, really just taking the step forward, having, reworking bodies, reworking how they're doing things, and taking a step forward with the next iteration of what the Miami Hurricanes football team is going to look like, because it will look different than last year. It will not be the number one offense in America, but it also will not be the number 123 defense in America either. So, yeah, I think that all of those things rang true from everybody that I spoke to, everything that I've seen, heard, and read. So that's kind of where we are after spring, heading into portal season with several departures already. And there's one that I didn't even put in the private chat that I was probably the one that most people are going to ask about. So, yeah. But yeah, solid spring, you kind of see where you stand. And then when you start to see who's leaving, then also see where you need to go shopping.
Cam, of course, we've done a few of these shows together, so you should be able to anticipate my moves, which when you name a former athlete, then I'm going to go refresh my memory on their statistics. Yes, Mike Hessman, 223 career at bats. So you project that out to a 600 at bat full season. He had 14 home runs in the 223. So he's going to hit 37, 38 home runs, even in the big leagues. But you can't slog around with a 188 batting average in doing so.
That part. There's very Rob Deere from when I was growing up playing right field. And it was a outfielder who struck out like 190, 200 times a year and would hit, 35, 40 home runs. But in the stands, we were very cool with the breeze of the whiffs from his bat. So, you can't, you have to be more of a value add. And he was very limited athletically. So defensively, he didn't really add much, which is why they were just like, hey, we'll park you at first base or DH or something. But then if you're not adding productive outs, then you're not getting any, you know what I mean? So, but at the minors, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of home runs. He was very 4A player, too good for AAA, dominated there, but not good enough for the show.
So considering your evaluation there at the quarterback position, and I still need to run these numbers. I did them very briefly during another show because I was thinking, okay, let's look at the Big Ten and how many quarterbacks were injured to the extent that there had to be a replacement for a considerable period of time or even for a game or two. And really, there were only two quarterbacks in the Big Ten that missed significant time, and that was Cade McNamara at Iowa, and that was, now I'm forgetting who the other one was. But anyway, but the least important guy on the roster, your backup quarterback, when the starter's healthy, obviously then becomes the most important guy on the roster. So do you feel as though they need to, and this is a difficult ask, find somebody in the portal that can be a solid backup quarterback?
I mean, I think that Miami needs a quarterback. The quality thereof is debatable. Carson Beck was cleared to start throwing this week and everything. So I would like to see another body in that room. I'm not sure if it needs to be like the backup. All things being equal between Emery and Luke, then give me Luke Nickel. You know what I mean? I believe he's the player that can play here, and Emery respectfully is not. I know Emery Williams did by reports just change his NIL representation and is potentially looking into his valuation and going elsewhere for compensation and playing time because players want to play. I totally get it. Were he to leave, then I do think, we really do need a guy who, if Carson Beck were to get injured, could step in and everything. So We need one. It's debatable with where that one addition would fit in the hierarchy. We'll call it.
And I asked that question also considering Carson Beck coming off a major injury.
Mm-hmm.